Chapter 1 Goodbye, the pride of the mermaid tribe. When the knell tolls like a devil's whisper, the mist swallowed the surroundings, and in this wall-less room, only the elegant and simple long table and wine rack could be seen. The stars floating in the mid-air emitted soft light, and until they fell into the mist, they slowly spread like oil paint dripping into a pond. A low voice sounded with a unique rhythm. Humanity's greatest weakness often stems from human nature. And the greatest weakness of human nature is love. The gloomy and pale Western face lifted up with an elegant and morbid smile. The wanderer of human civilization, Mr. Liu Zhe. Excuse me, do you love her? Snap your fingers gently. The originally quiet fog behind him suddenly boiled, and a strange black vortex tore open, revealing the person slumped on the ground inside. Roses, crosses, ruffles are embellished with European-style costumes, with a black and white tone. Under the doll-like curly blonde hair, there are delicate and pitiful big eyes, filled with tears. This is a girl, a lowly that combines beauty and darkness, but has lost her former nobility and is just pitiful. At the end of the long table, the man in a black trench coat did not raise his head. He just took out a pocket watch with a ticking hand and whispered to himself, "I love you very much." As expected, the other party clapped his hands with satisfaction. But I am very disappointed that Mr. Liu Zhe, who is known as a general, would fall into a trap because of a woman. Of course, fighting side by side for 3 months is nostalgic, and I will remember you. The other party whispered intoxicatedly, and then stood up slowly. The light of the stars illuminated the vampire-like pale and handsome face, but the fishman-like blue gills behind his cheeks destroyed this coordination. No. You will not remember me, Mr. Ron, the pretender of the Blood Prison clan. You will always be a martyr of the Mermaid clan. Liu Zhe played with the golden pocket watch indifferently, gently turning the hands with his fingertips. Click! When the pointer rotated to the third circle, a gentle chirping sound emerged. Liu Zhe finally raised his head, revealing his tough face with green stubble and his eyes as calm as the sea. He smiled and said, "I will erect your tombstone and achievements in the blue star sea of the 22nd realm. The news of your death will spread throughout the entire mermaid galaxy, and you will be praised by the entire mermaid clan as a martyr." What are you talking about? Ron's pale face suddenly showed cold, murderous intent. As the red star cluster on his chest spit out angry flames, the fog behind him began to spin crazily, and the shadows of the stars began to overlap and collapse. If you look closely, you can see that planets are dying one by one. Breathtaking power emerges. What I admire the most is people who are perfect at something, like you, who can train their muscles into their brains. Liu Zhe glanced at Ron with pity, then looked at the pitiful girl and smiled. "Lige, the game time is over." "What?" Ron turned around sharply. The girl in gothic Lolita costume giggled, her big eyes full of sweet love. The brown pupil of his left eye began to glow with blood until it spread to red. "Giggle, brother has been overestimating Mr. Ron from the beginning." The girl began to undergo a strange transformation, and her doll-like cully blonde hair began to lengthen to her waist, becoming as dark as a waterfall. One red eye and one brown eye, eerie and beautiful. Her height increased directly from 160 centimeters to 176 centimeters, and her balled-up white socks were stretched into knee-high stockings as her body increased. Under the gothic Lolita outfit, her skin is as white as milk and glows with a cold luster. The only pity is that the fullness of the chest becomes smaller as the body grows taller. It can be seen with the naked eye that it has gone through the process from D to B. In the end, it has directly transformed from a childlike giant Lolita to a cold and tall girl. The noble and elegant temperament, coupled with the Gothic-made costume and the huge contrast between the front and back, create a strong sense of conflict and indescribable temptation. Just like under the shadow of extreme evil, the purest flowers often bloom. Kiraheim showed a sweet smile. The moment her white fingers touched her eyebrows, all the skin and face began to disappear, revealing a squirming mass of water under the false appearance. The art of reality and illusion, water source mirror. How dare you deceive me? Ron's scarlet eyes flashed with anger, and he looked back at the man at the end of the long table, which instantly turned into black lightning and pierced him. Correction. She was the one who deceived you. After all, I still have basic respect for you. At the end of his sight, the man in a trench coat stood up gracefully, looked at the golden pointer floating in the air, and began to slowly reverse, and said with a smile, I will go back to the first day we met 3 months ago, and then take over everything you have. Goodbye, the pride of the mermaid tribe. Luze's words began to become distorted, and his voice began to distort along with his figure and everything around him. Ron's vertical pupils shrank to a line in an instant, and panic finally emerged, because he discovered that the vortex formed by the golden pointer was crushing everything around it at a constant rate that was unchangeable and irresistible. This was the power of time that transcended many rules. The vortex swallowed up Ron's roar and resistance until a subtle cracking sound was heard. Click! A red stream of light suddenly appeared on Ron's chest, only dazzling for a moment before being sucked into the golden vortex. The golden hands that were originally rolling slowly began to spin crazily in the next second. Luze, who was about to be swallowed by the vortex, saw all this, and a certain light flashed in his originally indifferent eyes. New variables are added, and the time loop reaction is fierce. Ron's raw stone can be used as time fuel, which is really an extra bonus. No, the time scale I marked was erased. The phoenix flame reacts out of control. So, Vilidi, this debate question may be very interesting. In his subconscious thinking, the boundless darkness swallowed up Luze's last consciousness. In May 2073 AD, it was a hot summer. After half a century of red mist changes, the Earth is still the same Earth, but the structure of human civilization and social systems has undergone earth-shaking changes. The red mist has invaded 1/3 of the Earth and is still advancing slowly. This has directly led to the demise of a large number of countries. The endless creatures emerging from the mist have caused great damage to human society. Therefore, it has also promoted the overall development of the world's scientific and technological level from the side, a strange combination of order destruction and rapid development. The huge internal and external pressure and harsh environment have turned the world into a strange state in the form of organizations, associations, and alliances. On the south bank of the Yangtze River, Liberty City number 176, East 8th District, Shangnan City, looks clearly like a towering giant fortress from a distance. A huge aura protects the city, with lush greenery, tall buildings, and a peaceful atmosphere. In the urban area, Shangnan High School happened to have a recess, and the crowd in the grade 3-3 class gathered together and watched the projection played by the data bracelet attentively. In the picture, the head of NASA's Alaska base in North America, Mr. Soyben Miller, whose hair is comparable to Einstein's, is standing on the platform on the edge of the fortress with a red face, holding a low-frequency amplification device and making an impassioned speech. 10 years ago, the great President Mr. Brown said this: "In this era, we humans are alone. Because the Earth and human civilization appeared too early, we are too far ahead of the universe. Of course, those damn planetary creatures in the fog do not count. But today, on behalf of NASA, I will announce the major event to all mankind. Actually, we discovered signals from outer space civilizations a year ago, which are different from those mutated planetary beasts. After systematic and professional demonstrations by NASA personnel, we can conclude that the unknown signals are a real language of some kind. Although the message has not yet been deciphered, it is certain that they are trying to communicate with us. This is a great moment because the opportunity has finally arrived for us to tackle planetary life. For example, those alien beasts outside the halo, Boom. In the picture, an astonishing shockwave with a height of tens of meters rose up, breaking through the halo barrier behind him. Soinstein in a white coat was rolled to pieces by the 10,000-ton shockwave with a single click. Before the light and shadow disappeared, there was an angry roar in the distance. A red warning sign flashed by. Extreme danger detected. Typhoon-level threat. 12-star, tide-white monster. The bright red font flashed by, and the satellite live broadcast was quickly cut off. The classroom was deathly quiet, and the students stared at the blackened projection screen with their mouths wide open. Is this a global live broadcast? Half of the fortress was gone in a flash. After 20 days of publicity and 20 seconds of launch, what exactly does the U.S. alliance want to express? Is it the humanistic thought that if you try hard to achieve miracles, you won't die if you don't commit suicide? 10 seconds later, the students completely exploded, and the roar of rage broke through the roof. Soyben Miller, the most stupid person in the world, actually broadcast such a bloody scene to me. I swear on the lives of my future wife's whole family that this is the shittiest live broadcast I have ever seen. The North American boss is extraordinary. He can withstand typhoons physically and is a true professional tank. Jingle bell bell. The class bell rang and the noise in the classroom disappeared instantly. Everyone turned off their bracelets in unison, sat upright, and watched the black-haired teacher with long body and short legs, who looked like an atavistic ape, walked to the podium. Yuan Hui, the head teacher of Class 3, Grade 3, has a dark heart, specializes in speculation, and is greedy by nature. The students nicknamed him Black Ape privately. He is 179 centimeters tall, weighs 82 kilograms, and is a 4-star genetic warrior. According to the current world rules, the 2 directions for the development of human force are genetic warriors who fully cultivate themselves and construction pilots who are proficient in using mechas. No matter which direction, the prevailing power levels are 1 and 2 stars are warrior disciples, 3 and 4 stars are warriors, 5 and 6 stars are warriors, 7 and 8 stars are warriors, and 9 and 10 stars are warrior kings who stand at the pinnacle of mankind. As a 4-star genetic warrior, Yuan Hui is already a rare existence that is only 1 out of 10,000. He is not only a key resource of the school, but also the backbone of the Yanhuang Battle Alliance. And his biggest hobby is to use reason threat to make students fall in love with his general history of war class from the bottom of their hearts, and then sincerely pay tribute after class. So now, even the most irritated students are as obedient as a little chicken that sees its mother, looking at the black ape with longing eyes. There is only 1 month left before the college entrance examination. This is the decisive moment in your life. It depends on you whether you want to be admitted to an A-level college or whether you can only go to a D-level college and live your whole life. And the 30 days from now until the college entrance examination will be your hell. Abandon your so-called self-esteem and shame. Now everyone face me and shout with me. Abandon your dignity, throw away your shame, and welcome the college entrance examination with a smile. The enthusiastic slogan spread throughout the classroom. Under Hey Yuan's faint smile, the students reluctantly shouted this shameful slogan. Especially the girls, they were so ashamed and angry that they were dying of shame, but in the end they had to shout out with a smile that was uglier than crying. Abandon your dignity, throw away your shame, and welcome the college entrance examination with a smile. Drowsy. A familiar voice came to my ears, from far to near. The bright sunshine shines through the window, making you feel warm all over. The young man who had been sitting quietly like a sculpture for 10 minutes had his eyelids shaking slightly. As you get closer, you can hear the soft murmur carefully. It's not an illusion or a dream, so I'm not dead. The boy opened his eyes. The whole world finally appeared clearly before his eyes. It was a gloomy face very close at hand, with a solemn expression like a lead ball rolling through the mud. Luze, how dare you sleep in my class? Chapter 2, Mortal Wisdom. Attend class, sleep. These two keywords entered his brain and quickly cleared Luze's mind. At this time, his first reaction was that everything he had just experienced was an illusion of the sea of consciousness. Manipulating the mind was the strength of some star races. So I am actually still in the 22nd realm of the Tower of Mist. However, the middle-aged man's face looked familiar to me, especially the gloomy look in his triangular eyes, which must have appeared in some ancient memory. Yuan Hui looked at the blank and hamster-like eyes in front of him, and his face turned completely black. Luze, stand up. The angry roar finally came like a storm. The roar this time made Luze's eardrums hurt. His pupils shrank suddenly, and countless scenes flashed through his mind like a movie. Luze's eyes finally regained focus and completely fell on the atavistic ape-man in front of him. Monkey! Hearing Luze's words, Yuan Hui snorted coldly. Can this kind of face-losing matter be solved by calling Teacher Yuan? If this kid doesn't show sincerity that satisfies him, today's matter will not be over. The sons of the poor who are preparing for the college entrance examination must respect his teacher with utmost respect. Monkey? However, the next word that was spoken slowly stunned Yuan Hui on the spot. Ape? In the next second, the gloomy face turned from black to dark purple. Luze was still looking at Yuan Hui, but his thoughts were like movie scenes passing by quickly and finally settled on the summer when he was 17 years old. 1 month before the college entrance examination, familiar scenes, familiar classmates, familiar green shade and sunshine. At this moment, he is still an ordinary high school student in the Red-Brown district. The planetary drilling machine from the distant universe has not yet landed on the Jokelsarland Glacier Lake. The coordinate points of the Earth have not yet been exposed, and human civilization is still within the safe wall. Silver Moon civilization, Blood Prison civilization, Mermaid civilization, War Drum civilization. Those future eras of strange races and vast starry sky have not yet arrived. The general god Luze, who in the future was a dark era in which no human being could exist, could walk alone for hundreds of years, dominate the 21 realms as a human race on Earth, and shine like a star in the night sky, returned to 117 years ago, when he was a senior in high school who was full of longing for the future. So now, the year is 2073 AD. Memories that had been sealed for decades flowed into my mind like a torrent, and this moment seemed like a lifetime ago. Luze's thoughts were racing wildly, and he subconsciously closed his eyes. Puff! In the corner, a male classmate who secretly drank water suddenly squirted out, and the sunlight illuminated the water mist into a rainbow. The classroom fell into a deathly silence. 2 words flashed in everyone's eyes at this moment. Awesome. 2 positions behind Luze, an inch-haired boy wearing a sea-colored trench coat helplessly covered his face. A's, even the gods can't save you this time. Don't ask who said it, I said it. Liangbo rubbed his hair desperately. Is this brother preparing to let himself go at the last moment of high school? If you really want to challenge the big black ape, why can't he endure it for another month? The muscles in Yuan Hui's cheeks twitched, and his entire arm shook, which was a symbol of his strength being stretched to the limit. Seeing that the situation was not going well, the surrounding students had already evacuated half of their bodies, fearing that the black monkey would go berserk in the next second and affect themselves. This bastard would be so bad that he would not even recognize his relatives. Okay, very good. It turns out that the appearance of a good student before was just a facade. I really underestimated you. Black Ape's eyes narrowed, and then a cruel smile flashed at the corner of his mouth. Take off your data bracelet, stand at the end of the classroom, listen carefully to every word I say, and then answer my questions. If you can't answer, hey, Yuan, stop talking, straightened Luze's collar seemingly kindly, then clapped his hands and returned to the podium. We've all seen the news just now. NASA scientists died unexpectedly, and the power of the fog has once again been revealed to mankind. In today's general history lesson on combat, we will focus on analyzing the key player in the news just now, the Chao-Bai behemoth. The tide-white behemoth weighs more than 1,200 tons, has a threat level of 10 to 12 stars, and has 20 sonic bone cages all over its body. It can release shock waves of 10,000 to 100,000 tons, with a killing radius of about 1 to 3 kilometers. The behemoth just now is the first 12-star behemoth to appear on Earth so far. The students immediately looked away from Luze and then looked at Black Ape with the most eager eyes. As for Luze, then he silently untied his bracelet and walked calmly to the back of the classroom. A's, when the chimpanzee asks, look under my left arm. Liangbo bared his teeth at his good brother, but when Luze looked at him, he suddenly showed a strange smile. Liangbo felt uncomfortable all over when he saw that smile, and Luze was made to feel scared. What's wrong with that? Liangbo swallowed. A smile appeared on Luze's lips, but he didn't say anything. He just patted Liangbo on the shoulder and passed by while the whole class looked at him with admiration. Liangbo, stand with him. Come to my office after this class. With a slap on the face, Liangbo stood up with a sad face and followed Luze in despair amid the laughter of the whole class. When Yuan Hui started to lecture, he looked ahead with a sad face and whispered, "If you are targeted by a black-hearted ape, you will have to be skinned again. Tell me frankly if you took the wrong medicine today. And what's going on with that perverted smile? It makes me feel scared." However, after saying a lot, he still didn't hear a response. Liangbo's cheeks twitched, and he turned back to glare at Luze. All he saw was Luze's nostalgic eyes and the smile that became more and more perverted in his eyes. "It's great that you are still alive," Luze said with a smile. "What a fool." Liangbo shivered and almost cursed. His face turned red. "What the hell do you mean you're still alive? Brother Bo is 18 years old this year. He's still a virgin at a young age, so why can't he be alive?" Luze curled his lips and said nothing. Liangbo would never have thought that he would be trapped in the fog when he entered the fog at the age of 26. He was forced to lose his virginity because he agreed to marry a princess of the Silver Moon tribe who was also about to die. However, he survived and became a Silver Moon contractor by accident. He was the first person in human history to step into the ranks of extraordinary people through such a strange way. A high-level life that transcends mortals, a transcendent being that is unique in millions, has just entered the realm with such nonsense. He had fought side by side with Liangbo and his wife for 30 years. Unfortunately, while exploring the 6th floor of the Tower of Mist, the couple was ambushed by the Tomb Star Legion of the Dark Organization and died tragically in the White Star Sea. At that time, Liangbo was 57 years old and had just entered the 15th level with a lower king-level combat power. Luze, tell me, is it because you are too nervous because of the recent college entrance examination pressure? Liangbo swallowed and continued to explain, "Actually, don't give up. This is just a mental illness and can be treated." Luze leaned against the wall, closed his eyes calmly, and ignored it. "Are you thinking about the medical expenses? Don't worry, I will cover the expenses." "Did you cover it?" A soft question came from behind. "Yes, I've got it." "Day." Liang Bo felt a chill rising from his tailbone to his Tian Lingai. He turned around tremblingly and happened to see Yuan Hui's sinister black face. Teacher Yuan. Liang Bo showed a smile that was uglier than crying. Yuan Hui looked at Lu Zhe, who was concentrating with his eyes closed, with a sarcastic smile on his lips. It's nice to sleep in my class, Yuan Hui, isn't it? Lu Zhe, you are a waste with a genetic sense of only 50.1. I'm afraid you will never understand the existence of a 12-star typhoon-level threat. You are like an ant. You can't even sit in a well and look at the sky.